Hello chess lovers, I want to show you a very interesting game which is known as the losing Immortal game. This game was played between the Soviet Grandmaster David Bronstein and the Polish International Master Bogdan Sliwa. The game was played in 1957 in Gotha. The game acquired its name because Bronstein, in a completely lost position, set a series of elegant traps in an attempt to swindle a victory from a lost game, although Sliwa deftly avoided the traps and won the game. Let's see how the game progressed. Sliwa started with d4 and f5 by Bronstein, Dutch defense, g3, white is choosing the Fianchetto line, knight f6, bishop g2, g6, bishop g5, bishop g7, knight c3, knight c6, queen d2, d6, h4, e6, white castles queenside, h6, bishop f4, bishop d7, e4, f takes e4, knight takes e4, and a bad move by Bronstein, knight d5. A better move was capturing on e4 and then playing queen f6, preparing castling queenside. But instead we see knight d5, and now white is starting to target this knight. Knight e2, queen e7, and here comes c4. Knight b6, well, at least black should have played knight f6, but this knight b6 allows white to push this c-pawn with a tempo. c5, d takes c5, and white captures on c7. Now the threat is knight d6 check, and this can be very unpleasant for black. Bronstein castled kingside, but this allows white to play bishop d6, and black is losing an exchange. Queen f7 and bishop takes f8. Rook takes f8, d takes c5, knight d5, f4, rook d8, knight c3, knight b4. Black is trying to find some counterplay. But anyways, the knight jumps to d6 square. This is just a perfect outpost for the knight. Queen f8, knight takes b7. Now as you can see, the rook on d8 is hanging, but Bronstein played knight d4. White captured on d8, and bishop b5. Bronstein is not even going to recapture the knight. He plays bishop b5. Now with this move, black is setting a very cunning trap. If white plays something like knight takes b5, then black has a strong response, queen f5, and now white has to be very careful. If a move like knight takes d4, then white can get checkmated after knight takes a2. Or after queen f5, if a move like b3, protecting the pawn on a2, then queen takes c5 check. If knight c3, then knight e2 check, king b2, bishop takes c3, and black is winning. Though on the other hand, after knight takes b5, queen f5, still white can win, but the following move is very difficult to find. Bishop d5 can win the game. The bishop is protecting the pawn on a2, and if queen takes d5, only now white can capture on b4. Or after bishop d5, if e takes d5, then this queen is no longer attacking the pawn on c5 and white can play b3. Still white's position is winning. But after bishop b5, white played a very precise move, knight takes e6. Now the queen on f8 is hanging, but Bronstein played bishop d3. An amazing move. The thing is that white can't capture on f8 because white king can get checkmated. Black can play knight takes a2 check. If knight takes a2, then knight b3 checkmate. This is truly spectacular checkmate. Let's go back. After bishop d3, white played bishop d5, overprotecting the pawn on a2 and also threatening some nasty discovered checks. Queen f5, knight takes d4, queen takes d5. Again, black is offering his queen. White can't capture on d5 because of knight takes a2 checkmate. After queen takes d5, Sliwa played knight c2, but now comes bishop takes c3. Again, white has to be very careful. If queen takes c3, then knight takes a2 fork is winning. White played b takes c3. Black captured on a2, and after c takes b4, black resigned. Of course not knight takes b4 because queen b1 is a checkmate. That's why we see c takes b4 and Bronstein resigned. Your comments and questions please. I hope that you liked this beautiful game. Good luck.